For example, let's say I'm talking to the admin of a particular company, right? Obviously, now this is going to be one of the biggest tips that you guys can take when you're talking to the admin of a big company who is basically managing 10,000 employees, right? And now I have a product which basically will help his employees get better services. Let's say it's a product which is basically into co-living, right? Like the business I am in, right? Now, when I go and tell the admin, ki, look, sir, I have a product which will give your consumers very nice houses to stay, good facilities, good food, good Wi-Fi, everything. He's going to be like, मेरे को क्या फर्क पड़ रहा है उससे? My employees are going to get benefited out of it. How is it benefiting me in any way? Now, when you think about it, when you go and talk to this guy and you tell him, sir, I have a product which will basically help you cut down your company's cost by 40-50%. Now, when I tell him this, acha, ye kya hai? Batao mujhe. As soon as you are able to get some sort of an interest of that buyer on what you want to say, I think that increases the chances of you being heard drastically. अगर आप सीधा उसको जाके बोलोगे, I have something for your employees, he will not even give you 2 minutes to talk. But when you tell him something, I have something for you, which will benefit you, and then indirectly benefit your consumers, that is when you are able to get some attention out of it. So whenever you're talking to anybody, whether it be a vendor, whether it be a professional, whether it be a consumer, always speak what the consumer wants to hear. Tomorrow, when you guys will start giving interviews in front of HR, don't go and tell them I scored 85% in my PUC, I scored 90% in my MBA, I did the internship in this company. You tell them how did you add value to these companies in which you did internships, right? How did you try and identify real life problems and how did you solve them? How much value did you add to the company which you work for, and how did you contribute to the projects that were there? When you tell all these things to the HR in the next interview you guys give, he will really try and understand how will you benefit as an employee to the organization, right? Like he will want to understand, ye banda agar, if he has done all these things, then he will be able to do all these things in my organization as well. Like how optimistic is he when it comes to solving problems? Like whenever people are going to give you problems, it's like, dekhte hain, it's not my job to do. Or is it like, how do you approach that problem and then try to solve it? So these sort of answers are very important in terms of cracking good and big interviews, right? Obviously, they will also try and see how comfortable are you to change your particular role, try and work in different diversified positions in the company, whether you'll be a good fit to move from a retail sales to a telemarketing sort of a role, whether will you be able to learn new skills and adopt them. So showing scalability and skill are equally important, but I think telling what the consumer or the customer wants to hear is the most important part. And that is what is the key to being a good telemarketing professional, right? Third, I think the third career option, which I think is very lucrative and which I think will attract you guys the most, is obviously social media marketing, right? Now, social media manager is a big designation that's getting fancy these days, but it's not just about putting pictures and memes on Instagram and Facebook and then telling I'm a social media marketer. It's not as simple as that. It is a very, very deep, very, very detailed course where firstly you have to identify, is your market in this platform or in this space? Not all the products can be sold through social media marketing, but the ones which can are probably doing it very, very well, right? Can you guys give some examples of some brands or companies which sell through social media?
Urban Monkey.
Who?
Urban Monkey.
I have no clue what that brand is.
Beardo.
Okay. Beardo.
And Dipso.
I'm sorry?
And Dipso, sir. It's an educational platform.
Okay. Okay.
So Crep Dog Crew.
Okay.
This is a shoe reselling company, which is a very nice company on Instagram. So they don't have any offline stores or anything. They sell through their Instagram account.
Okay. Okay.
They
Sir,
just-
the thrift stores, thrift parcels, the thrift stores.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. So, Grace, you are saying something? Grace, Ritika? I'm sorry, I did not hear you guys.
So I said Mintra.
Mintra.
So I said about Oriflame.
What?
Oriflame, sir.
Oriflame. Okay. Okay.
Anupam, I
See-
think, has put in the chat box saying Mama Earth.
Mama Earth. Yeah. True. True. I would not say Mama Earth or which was that other one? Mintra would very clearly be defined as social media marketing because those guys have their own websites. That is a different thing completely. That's not something like. But I think very very a good point made in terms of Oriflame being one example, Cred being one example, which sells through social media. So what do you guys think? Why are these brands successful on social media? What are the first 1 or 2 points which you guys think are making these guys?
The way they advertise. That's right.
I'm sorry.
Because of the way they advertise mainly.
How do they advertise?
So they have the certain products where beauty products too. So mainly the women look at how healthy or how safer it can get. So they provide certain descriptions to it. So a lot of girls especially want to look at how chemical free kind of a product it is. And it gives you very minimal too.
How do they touch base with the consumer? Like how does the consumer get to know about them? Like, on what platforms?
It all starts with the target audience. Like, for example, let us take Cred. They talk about the benefits which they give. They talk about the values which they provide. So it's what attracts the consumers most, or the people who are willing to take it. So that's the creative level which they bring in, the values which they want to give, or the benefits which they offer before or after taking the service.
Okay. Okay.
So even the type of engagement they do, like the type of posts and content they put up in their field, it also affects majorly, sir.
That was the word that I was looking for. Content.
Yes.
Very, very, very. Thank you so much for using that word, Bhavna. I think social media marketing is all about content. If your content is right, it'll go everywhere. Right? Which was the last viral ad that you guys saw? A very viral ad which you remember? I don't remember any viral ad because it's been decades.
So Cred. It has to be Cred.
Exactly. Exactly. Javelin. कौन सा था वो? नीरज चोपड़ा का Javelin. That was such a magnetic ad, like the whole world was hooked on his gold medal, and bang, at that point in time they launched this ad campaign, and it was like it took everybody by storm. That is what a social media manager has to do. He has to develop content, he has to identify channels, and then he has to basically put it through the right platforms to get it to the right consumers. And guys, certain companies have been successful only through this one channel. And there are huge career options in this. It is obviously not going to be as easy as just being an admin of a meme page or an admin of a group. That I think is the easiest job in the world. That I think even 8th or 9th standard students are doing these days. But as marketing professionals, how detailed are you going to get into, and how much deeper you want to get into social media marketing is very important. Like, you guys will have to build a career out of this. So start getting into those and start reading articles if you guys want to pursue a career in. I think a very, very fruitful career there as well, and a lot to learn and grow. Because I think by the end of 2050, from what I have read, there will be literally no offline stores in India. There will be only digital sales happening in India. There will not even be self-driving. There will not even be cars which will be driven by human beings. The entire market is going to be dominated by self-driving cars. Like, you'll be sleeping at the back of your car and the AI is going to drive it. Right? I don't know if you guys know this, but by 2026, we are set to colonize on Mars. That's where the world is going to. So if you guys think कि petrol की गाड़ी next 10 साल में चलने वाली है, या फिर I should get into automobile, these are industries which will not grow, very honestly. And the future is something else. So social media marketing is one of the careers that you guys can look into. Last but not the least is SEO specialist. Now, when we say SEO, it's basically search engine optimization. Huge chunk of data to study and analyze and to work around. I think, like you said, Mintra, like you said, Future Group, like you said, Cred, all these companies basically work on SEO. Like 90% of their consumers are ones who come through Google, right? I mean, for what do we not use Google these days? If you guys want to learn a recipe, you just Google it. You guys want to know the spelling of a particular word, you Google it. You guys want to literally just go and download a picture of a celebrity, you Google it. So Google is all about just optimizing the right keywords to basically divert your content on the first page. That is SEO. Now, how strongly you build your SEO around your product is what will define the success rate of your company and the way it highlights and shows on the first page of Google, right? That is what SEOs work around. And they take months and months to identify the right keywords and market their product. And there is a deep science and analytics behind it, which I think you guys will learn as and when you become more professionals in that. Last but not the least, in sales marketing, I think there is a wide range of speculation as well, as in like, is it going to be work from home? Is it going to be a field role? Is it going to be a role where I have to be in office most of the time, I have to be on field? I think, guys, there is nothing called work from home in the field of sales and marketing, at least from what I have seen last 1 year. But I think it's equally important to go and understand the pulse of the market. Like, you guys are very mature in terms of the kind of thought processes you guys are, right? It's very simple for you to go buy a product outside. It's very simple for you to change your decisions. It's very simple for you to analyze that, if this is something that works, I will do this. But I think when you get inside an organization and when you start working for it, it is at that point in time you realize that organizations takes decades to build. Like, what you buy in a Kirana store today and why it has come to such a large extent has been the fruit of the last 10, 20, 15 odd years where the companies have built all this. You guys are not really aware of the kind of processes that are built inside organizations, the kind of supply chain that is there, the way finances are managed, the way resources are allocated, the way manpower hiring is done, right? When you guys do a fest, a management fest, क्या करता है? तुमको बोलता है ले 2 लाख रुपए का बजट है, जाओ करो जो करना है. Go find sponsors, go spend your money on banners, flyers, getting other colleges. But when you try and inculcate all that into a business model, like if I have to start a business tomorrow and I have to build a business model, how many parameters do you consider when you build that? How much capital am I have to invest? How many finances are involved? How many people do I want to hire? How much should go in training? How much should go in marketing? Right? I think all these things you guys will be able to learn only when you get into big, large organizations. And I, on a very personal note, would want all of you to start working and start your careers with an MNC and not a startup. The biggest mistake that freshers these days are doing is just jumping on the startup wagon, right? Trend hai, paisa zyada de rahe hain. Just jump to the startup which is paying the highest and then just go and join it. Trust me, guys, you will not be able to build a career in startups as soon as you get out of college, because it's going to be a very stressful environment to work in. And trust me, these startups do not have a lot of processes. They are not really organized. And it's mainly a lot of hustle, bustle, and new innovation that you have to do. But if you work in an MNC for the first 2-3 years, that will basically give you a clean slate in the way you look at the world and you guys look at sales and marketing. I think it will really help you brush up your skills and understand things. And when you learn how our organization works, I think it's easier to go to a startup and then apply your own ideas in improving the processes there, right? So very, very personal, honest tip on certain careers that you guys can pursue in sales and marketing. Now, okay, let's say you guys have identified a company, you guys have identified a product line, you guys have identified an industry. Now, how do you sell? I think the biggest question is how do you sell a product or a service? Like Ayush said, have a sweet tongue. I think that is something that I will definitely take out of this meeting today. I don't know. It's a good point you made, Ayush, but I do not know if that will really work unless and until you're talking sense, right? I mean, you can't go to a blind guy and tell him like this is a Ray-Ban goggle, which I think will look good on you. I don't think so. You can go to a deaf guy and tell like, look, these are the best earphones in the world, right? This is when you are doing your homework wrong. And I think getting your homework right is very important.
Yes, sir. So when with this sweet tongue, you should also know who you're targeting. You need to have a specific target audience that you have to target.
So that's what I'm saying, right? So before you even start talking, you need to identify whom are you talking to and is he the right person or not?
Yes, sir.
Right? Good. So what do you guys think? Like, what is sales? Like, what is sales according to you guys?
Sales is nothing but
I want to hear apart from people like Ayush and Abhishek and Grace. And guys, all these guys with their videos of, I don't know what are you guys doing, but there's no participation, and this is really very disheartening for me to see this. Okay, so I'm making notes. Anybody guys? What is sales? Saundarya, you want to say something?
Sir, activities between buyer and seller.
यार मेरे को है ना मैनेजमेंट लेवल के आंसर्स मत दो यार, लाइक डिफाइन करके कमोडिटी बीइंग सोल्ड फ्रॉम अ बायर टू ऐसे मत करो. टेल मी व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट सेल्स, लाइक raw definitions.
Sir, it is basically where you sell your product and you the motive behind that is to gain profit out of it. Like whatever your cost is, to remove that and then get your profit or revenue out of it. Basically, sales means that for me.
Okay.
So maybe so sales is like selling the right product to the right customers. You should know like what product does the customer need. So selling it to the right customer is my message.
So you cannot sell the right product to the wrong consumers?
No, sir. Like why would a consumer want something which they don't want to buy?
You never know. That's called creating demand as well.
Yes, sir.
I never knew I needed a phone stand in my house, but I bought it because somebody sold it to me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, guys, others. Who's the brightest in the class, Francesca? Like, who's the topper of this batch?
Snehal Kutre.
Snehal, where are you?
There she is.
Please show yourself.
She's a little soft-spoken but smart.
That's fine.
Yes, Snehal. There are many more, but they are not opening their mouths.
Snehal, come on.
This is something that is Kush there. Kush is as I call him, over smart student, but I don't think he's there.
Yeah, guys, if you're not gonna be smart on this call here today, you guys are not smart, at least from my angle. Like, trust me when I say this. आप कितने भी बड़े हीरो बन जाओ, मेरे लिए तो जीरो हो आज, अगर आज कॉल पे बात नहीं कर रही.
Okay, Pranam has an answer. Yes, Pranam.
So sales.
Guys, just unmute your turn your videos on when you're asking questions at least, please.
According to me, sales is something creating a brand value in a customer's mind, like after selling the product or creating a hype.
Creating a brand value has more to do with marketing, not sales. But okay, got it.
It's just an activity between buyer and a seller.
वापस MBA वाला आंसर. हाँ, नेक्स्ट. और कोई है किसी के पास? हाँ.
So
Yeah,
basically,
Vaishnavi.
you should be having the convincing skills before you sell a product to someone. When you convince that person, even that person is not interested, just like you said that you bought a stand. If you have that convincing skill to the XYZ person, you can sell anything, any say a product or service. I feel that.
Good answer. Very good answer.
So
ठीक है.
it's about getting people to change, adapt to change.
Okay. Okay. Good. That's a good answer. Yeah. Yeah,
Excuse
Pranav.
me, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir, I think sales has more to do with selling a solution or an experience rather than selling the product. Because when you're selling a product, people don't really know or maybe know what product they are buying. But when you describe the experience to them, or if you describe the benefits they are going to get out of the product, that is basically selling.
So
Yes, sir. Adding to Pranav's point, I believe that it is identifying and clearly understanding what the consumer problems are or the consumer needs are, and then deliver what they want.
Brilliant, guys. Yeah. Yeah, Yush.
according to me, sales is important, but selling something and making them coming back to you, like keeping them with you, is very important according to me. Because if making them coming back to you and again giving, so that is more important to me. Sales is important, equally important.
Or maybe sales is something like gathering information.
अभी तो मैं हाँ या भावना.
So I guess it depends also upon how you display your products and how you advertise it. Like if you advertise it well, then you cannot have to put much effort to sell the products.
Okay. Yeah, Viraj.
Yes, sir. So as everyone said, कि एक customer को वो बेचना चाहिए to convince, basically convincing skills and all. So that is just 5% of other sales part. But a real sales person will mostly focus on his audience who actually require the product, because that is where he's going to earn the chances, or we can say.
But then let's say when organizations are creating products which are required in the market and which are needed, then why do they hire sales teams? Like मतलब product है, लोगों को जरूरत है, खरीद रहे हैं लोग, खरीदो, हो रहा है धंधा.
Sir, your point is.
One second, Viraj. 1 second. Let Grace complete her answer. Yeah.
So as you said that, we already created the product and why do we need sales? I mean, there's somebody who is going to go to the customer and tell them that here we also are there in the market and we also are here to give you much better like quality or quantity or whatever they have to offer.
वो तो फिर advertisement से भी हो जाता है ना. Why do you need to go and tell people personally?
So another opinion on the sales, like influencing people.
No, that's marketing.
So I think that you are expecting that we need to say that sales is creating relationships or creating communication values.
यार ये अभिषेक को वर्क एक्सपीरियंस सब है क्या? कहीं काम वाम करके आया है? कुछ 2-3 डिग्रीज ऑलरेडी इसके पास है. बहुत रिलेटेबल आंसर्स दे रहा है यार अभिषेक. अभिषेक, where are you from?
So I'm from Belgaum.
अच्छा, cool. मैं शेट्टी देख के मुझे लगा मंगलूर से आया हो क्या.
Even in the class he is like that. Doesn't attend very regularly, but when he attends he is very good.
हाँ ठीक है, बहुत सही है. Cool. Guys, so ठीक है. Very, very valid points made. I think the first point on which I would want to start off this conversation on what is sales is nothing but solving problems. That's all it is for me. When you sell to solve a problem or fulfill a need. For me, when I want to go sell something in the market, I first try and identify two things. What is the need of the consumer? Second, what is the problem statement? Obviously, उसको अगर need भी नहीं है, उसके पास problem भी नहीं है, प्रोडक्ट तो तुम जिंदगी में बेच नहीं पाओगे. No matter how low you price it, how many discounts you give, how high, how big your brand is, you will not be able to sell it. The primary objective of sales is to solve a need and identify the problem statement, like what Abhishek said. 90% of your job is done when you identify the problem statement that is there in the minds of the consumer, or there is a persistent problem in the market, and you are trying to solve that by introducing a product or a service. Right? Now, why did Urban Clap as a company succeed so much in the last 1.5 to 2 years? Any rough guesses? Do you guys know what Urban Clap is? All of you know?
Yes, sir.
Shrishti, you know what Urban Clap is, or Urban Company?
Sir, because they have solutions for daily household needs.
Okay.
So it's a service provider company.
How, but why did they become successful in the last 1 year?
Because people need it on daily basis. What service they provide.
I'll tell you why they became successful, guys. Urban Clap and Urban Companies were successful earlier also, but after the COVID lockdown happened, and after people started having that stigma of going to a hair salon or a barber shops to get their hair cut, and live in that fear of getting affected with COVID, that became a big problem statement for this company. That is when they realized, लोगों को अभी एक बहुत बड़ी problem है where they can't get out of their house and go get a haircut or go to a beauty salon. That is when they said, अगर लोग नहीं आ सकते तो हम क्यों नहीं जा सकते? Let us go to the consumers and give them the service what they want, what they usually took outside, and let's charge a premium for it. Like people were okay to pay 500 to 1,000 rupees for an haircut. Where they would pay 100 rupees, they were okay to pay 1,000 rupees. Can you believe the kind of margins they operated on? It was like 80% margins, like they made 800 rupees per transaction. Yeah, and even if they did 100 transactions, 10 transactions a day, it's 8,000. Into 30, into 12, what's the annual revenue that the company is earning? Can you believe? 10 तो मैं बहुत कम बोल रहा हूँ. Like 10 तो is the least transactions that they can do. I'm guessing it was more than 100, 150 transactions a day. And what a scalable business that is. Right? Imagine such a small idea trickled into such a big business. So I think identifying the problem statement and then addressing it and selling your product according to that, I think is one of the key and the most important aspects for sales. And I think that is why it's very important that when you guys select the organization where you guys want to, maybe join and start working tomorrow, I think it's going to be very important to, understand this first point. Okay? So that is one. Second, I think when you identify this, yeah, somebody's saying something. Okay. So that is the first stage of, how to be a good effective seller. Second is to listen more and talk less. Right now, when you sit in front of a client and without even letting him tell you what he wants, you just go and just start blabbering. Sir, mere paas ye hai, mere paas wo hai. This is my price. This is I come from the best company in this business. Don't do that. The first 10 minutes of the conversation you guys do with anybody, listen to what they have to say. 95% of your answers will come from that first 5 minutes of conversation that you have. When you clearly try and identify what the consumers have to say or what the customer has to say, you will not be needed to tell five of the points which you came to tell that day. And maybe you will only focus on the 5 points which are very important in terms of convincing this guy to actually buy your product. Right? For example, let's say you go to sell a cell phone to a customer, like it's a big dealer. Let's say, which is the biggest phone dealer in Belgaum? I don't know. What's his name? There are a lot of
What
them.
about this unique communications?
I've heard about Sachin Communications.
Whatever communication that is, I don't care. So let's say tomorrow you have to go to sell him a smartphone, right? When he tells you half the things, like I need a smartphone which has so and so many specifications at so and so price range, obviously then half of the pitch of yours is already cut short and modified. Like, isko ye chahiye, to I will pitch him the products only which relate to his specifications. And that makes your job a hell lot easier, right? Naito, you would end up wasting half an hour to 1 hour, one single client or a consumer, and you will not be able to close that sale. So I think listening first and then talking is a very, very mature skill to have. I'm not saying that you guys will develop this overnight, but I think practice makes perfect, right? So when you start building that level of patience where you are able to sit and listen to people, I think it goes a very long way in building a successful career ahead, whether it be sales or whether it be any other company, right? So that is the second most important thing that I would want to stress upon. Third, I think it's very important to understand whom are you selling to, right? Again, coming back to my previous point, I think it's important to understand, are you selling to a consumer or to a customer? Very clearly identify that gap before you go and talk to somebody, right? Like tomorrow, let's say I come to KLE's, let's say tomorrow I guys come to your college, right? And I tell, look, I want to do a social, a mass gathering activity where I want to give free books or pens to your students and market my product, right? That way college will be like, मेरे को क्या फर्क पड़ने वाला है? I am not getting any benefit. But when I say, sir, look, I am going to give me a chance to come and sell my books and pens to your students, and I will indirectly help you market to all the other 10,000 students base that I have, so that they also are aware of a business administration college in Belgaum. That is immediately when the college will be like, हाँ भाई, we will do this, right? Because end of the day, it is benefiting the college somewhere, it is benefiting the students as well, and it is end of the day creating a win-win situation for all of them, right? That is why it is important to know whom are you selling to. Like if I would have been talking to the students directly, then I would have been directly talking to the consumers. But here, since I was talking to the college, it was important that I identified that how is it that I'm talking to them, right? Third, I think it's important to sell yourself. No product or no company has been successful only because of their products, but I think it has been successful because of the kind of people that run them. Now, if you ask me, why have I been able to build a successful long career in my last 7 years of work experience? It's only because I have been able to sell myself as a very, very reliable, as a very, very professional, and as a very trustable sort of a guy. And that is what people respect. Tomorrow, if you guys are working for Infosys, Wipro, or let's say HUL, ITC, nobody's going to think like they're dealing with ITC or HUL. They're going to be dealing with you. What brand value are you creating to that consumer or customer on the table? How much of problem solving are you doing for him? How reliable are you in terms of helping him solve his problems? I think how important is your confidence in the product that you're selling? That is very important. So don't get into an organization or an industry which is not going to motivate you. I think that's a very, very important thing that you guys will need to understand and work around. Secondly, building that level of trust with the people you're talking to is very important. I think if they do not respect you as a person, they will never be able to take you seriously and the kind of product that you want to sell, right? That's another point. The next point that I want to stress on it is keep it very simple. When you're pitching or when you're talking to somebody, don't unnecessarily exaggerate the conversation. Keep it very simple. Like I always say, use anecdotes, right? Anecdotes are basically situations where you have gone through a particular experience in your life and then you are telling that to somebody else, right? Very relatable, no? When you tell somebody your experience and then they are able to relate to it. Can somebody tell me an experience where you have maybe bought a product and you have been very happy and you have really liked that experience of buying and using that product? Anybody?
So
it can be anything.
So can it?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, so there is this new debit card in the market called FI by Federal Bank. So I was getting continuous ads on my Instagram. So I thought of registering to it. And as soon as I registered, I got the debit card in like 7 days. There were no charges charged. And the package, it was packed so beautifully that I was so impressed by the package. They had given me a comic, few laptop stickers and mobile stickers they had given me. So I was so happy with that product that I recommended it to my friends, and four to five of my friends bought it. So they were very precise and very perfect with whatever they were sending, and they knew that their customers are going to be happy.
I think it's so easy to convince college students. No, just send a few sets of stickers, pack it nicely, and people are impressed. खत्म. और कुछ करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. Now, this is fine, but I am talking more from a perspective where somebody has been able to sell you that, and that experience has created a lot of value for you. Like it happened because of a person, whether it be a service or a product. Anybody else?
Sir?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'd been to some food expo or something like that. It was basically a food festival. There, one of my friend, he had a friend who owned a stall there, and that guy was selling natural juices.
Okay.
So he somehow convinced me to consume those juices. He made me drink a few juices. He gave me a few samples, and I also recommended that to my parents. So after that, they were all natural juices. They didn't add any preservatives, or they were healthy juices basically. So after my parents started consuming it, and after I started consuming it, we really felt a difference in the way our health was, and how our daily lives changed. Yes, so that product.
Okay. कौन सा जूस है यार ये?
सर अर्का करके जूस है, फ्रेश फ्यूजन कंपनी है.
Okay. ठीक है. I'll definitely give it a try.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else?
I have an experience too.
Yeah.
I had a pet dog, and I used to use this typical dog food, which he did not used to like often. I met this person who claimed that he had a pet store, and he told me, suggested me a dog fruit brand. So I got it. So when I got it, my pup liked it. He really loved it, and he started eating it more often, and he did not waste a single of its pellets. So I fell in love with this product. I fell in love with the person who gave me that. It made me believe that there are good people out there who can sell the right things to right people. So this is how I got a product. I experienced it. I loved it, and I am a repeated customer to that now.
Good. Very happy to know that.
So I would like to give another example. So as we Indians, we don't like sales people to come at our doorsteps. So there was once I thought I should really listen to this guy who was selling encyclopedias and small books. And I opened the door and I was listening to this guy. This guy convinced me in like 20 to 10 minutes. He convinced me to buy these books, and I bought those books. These books are from Net Geography, and I'm pretty happy with these books. And they had everything that he claimed, so was pretty happy.
Okay. Anybody else, like from this set of backbenchers? Not backbenchers, I would say the third page benchers, who are on the third page of Zoom, are not coming out. Nobody? Okay. Cool. Yeah. So like you said, right? Like 2 or 3 of you guys gave examples. He gave you a sample. He was able to explain it to you in a much better off manner. All these things again relate to the points that we discussed about, right? Like know whom you're selling to, solving a problem statement, keeping it simple. I think all these are like basically 4 or 5 very, very clear points that will make you a successful sales and marketing professional. I think doing your research, doing your homework, identifying the problem, having a very clear cut thought approach towards anything will help you guys become experts in this, right? Uh, one more very important aspect of selling, like somebody mentioned earlier as well, is building a rapport. Unless and until you actually are able to build a rapport or break that iceberg or build a relationship with your consumer or your customer, it is 10 times more harder to sell it to them, right? That is why I always believe, even before you start your pitch or you go and talk to anybody, I think it's very important to do that 5 to 10 minute of casual talk with them. Like, just say an hi, just inquire about where are they from, what have they been doing, what kind of a background are they from. That basically gives the listener a sort of a feel where he feels like he is important, right? That just does not revolve around going to him and selling the product to him, but it's also about him realizing, maybe the person who's talking to me actually wants to, actually cares about me and actually wants to know about what I have to say and where I come from before I even start talking, right? So I think that is very important. Last but not the least is, I think, do your research. When you're going and pitching something to somebody, I think you should know everything and anything that has to do with your product and your industry in that particular point in time. Now, if you go to sell somebody, let's say, a very expensive phone, and you do not even know what the competition has to offer, what kind of pricing are they benchmarked at, what is good in your product and what is not, what is not available in your competitor's product, is very important. If you do not do your research, if you do not identify your market, if you do not identify what your USPs are, you will never be able to, be successful and believe in your product when you talk to that client. If you go and tell a client, "Sir, my phone is worth 30,000 rupees, it will give you so and so many benefits and offers," but then the consumer comes back and tells you, "Yeah, this store is available at 20,000 rupees. Why should I buy your product?" It is more or less the same, but you're charging 10,000 rupees more. You will be blanked out, guys. And these are some of the worst situations you can get stuck in as a sales and marketing professional. And that deal, once gone, is gone for life. Like, you will not be able to recover that consumer ever again. Because you get only one opportunity in life, right? To take a shot at everything. Like, whether it be an interview, whether it be a meeting, or whether it be a very important discussion that you're doing. So once you lose that gap where you're not even thorough about your knowledge about the market and the product, you will be just putting your hand in shallow waters. You will not be able to get anything out of it, right? So that is a very important point again when it comes to sales and marketing. I'm sorry, what question is this? Narendra, sir, I have a question. There is a company named Just Egg, which makes eggs like product, which is made from moong dal. Its texture is egg and taste mostly like egg. What are your points on selling this in India, or what is your view on this product? यार मतलब मैं शार्क टैंक का जज थोड़ी बैठा हूं यहाँ पे जो बताऊंगा. But yes, I think it's a great product. If you ask me, Narendra, India slowly, as an overall consumer market, is shifting from a non-vegan diet to a vegan diet, right? Like, that is happening at a very, very rapid scale, and people are looking for meat-free substitutes for meat, right? Like, it is very difficult for me to even think कि मैं meat कभी छोड़ दूंगा खाना, but I cannot live with it. But there are certain people who are looking for substitutes, and I think plant-based subsidized products are going to be the future, right? A good 60% of the Indian population has turned vegan in the last 1.5 years. I think that will touch somewhere between 80 to 90% in the coming 4 or 5 odd years, especially with the kind of carbon footprint non-vegetarian meat leaves on earth, right? So I think moong dal based egg meat is something that will be revolutionized. Selling it, I think, again, is going to be very, very direct D2C. Like you'll have to approach all the retail channels and outlets. But I think the way you are going to market this, like the way you're going to show an egg to a consumer and then make him eat it and then tell him this is not an egg, this is moong dal. I think that experience and that phase in which you're going to market it to the audience is going to be very important for it to succeed or whether to fail. But I think, yes, it has a long sustainable future for sure. I mean, now these days, plant-based meats are what everybody's eating. I don't know how many guys you guys have eaten it, but it tastes just like chicken. Like it tastes just like chicken, or it tastes just like a smashed patty of mutton or fish. And I think that's solving a big problem outside in the world. And that is why I think these products are very easy to sell.
Yes, so there are two companies which is Beyond Meat
मुझे
and
तो लगा तुम
Impossible.
शुरू कर रहे हो ये ऐसा वाला startup.
Yes, I was thinking it. Yes,
अच्छा.
I was thinking about it, but
करो यार, करो. I'll help you sell it. Don't worry. We will start from Belgaum and then we'll go across India.
Yes.
You let me know. But I need at least a good equity in the company. Okay?
Yes, we will see too. Thank you, sir. Thanks for the answer.
Cool. So I think that is more or less it, guys, from my end. I want to keep the forum open for a lot of questions that you guys might have for the next 10-15 minutes. And then maybe we can very quickly summarize this entire thing.
So the topic is about how to sell anything. Is it possible to sell anything?
Absolutely. You can sell a stone also tomorrow. As long as you identify the benefit that it's going to add to the consumer. And trust me, people are into the business of selling stones. People are into the business of selling oxygen and air.
Yeah.
Like just air in a can. And you will not believe people are also into selling refined ice. Like a refined spear of ice cubes is sold at $200-300. And people buy it. Trust me, there are enough and more stupid people in the world who will buy anything that you want to sell them. Anything. It's just about how you're going to market that product and how you're going to position your company. Simple as that. Cool, guys. Any questions? Last 10 minutes. We'll just very quickly take questions and anything that's not even related to this topic. Maybe regarding your jobs, your futures, your careers. Yes, Prajakta.
So I have one question. As you've stated a lot about MBA in your talk, I have one question that there are a lot of famous personality like Elon Musk, Jack Ma, who stated that hiring an MBA is a waste of money. That really hit me hard. So when I read about it, but what do you have? What do you feel like? What's your take on these statements?
I think Jack Ma and Elon Musk have not been hiring from the right MBA colleges. That's what I would say. I do not think it holds true. I think for you guys pursuing BBA and KLE, right? I think this is a phase where you guys are coming out of your eggshell, very obviously. In MBA, I think you do not learn a lot of theoretical knowledge, but it's all about learning how to manage your time. I think it's about managing time. I think it's about prioritizing tasks. And it is also about being industry ready, as in like, how is it that your life will become when you start working for an organization? I do not think MBA is a waste of time. It is completely up to you. How do you want to break out of your eggshell and become a thorough working professional in the 2 odd years? For me, MBA was nothing but managing my own time and just learning the art of getting things done. Like a very famous dialogue, one of my marketing professors told me, what is management? Management is nothing but art of getting things done. Either you do it or either you make somebody else do it. Kaam hona chahiye. And like the other day, Aman Gupta also explained what an MBA stands for. माल बेचना आता है. वो पता नहीं वो कितना रिलेटेबल है, बट यस इट इज वेरी ट्रू कि माल बेचना आता है या नहीं आता है. दैट इज व्हाट MBA end of the day is, because then you learn the tricks and trades of the product, right? Like कि तुम्हारे पास माल है, ये बेचना कैसे, and what are the different mixes that you can use. So I do not think MBA is a waste of time, Prajakta. I think I very strongly believe in getting an MBA degree, but like I said, do your MBA only from a good top B school, nahi to mat karo. Like better you just keep trying CAT for 2-3 years and crack a good college. Or rather off, I would suggest work for a year or two, right? Work in a good big MNC for a year or two, learn how organizations work, and then when you come back to do your MBA, trust me, you will be able to relate to hundreds of things much, much better off than working as a fresher. Like I would definitely recommend you guys should do that. I was not having I did not have the privilege of doing it, but I strongly tell people that if you are able to work for a year, take a lot of learning out of it, then do your MBA. Nothing like it, guys. Like you guys will be very, very stable in terms of getting a good, healthy job after that. But go do your MBA project for sure.
Yes, sir. I'm an MBA aspirant, so for sure. Just
Cool.
that quote was really a very shocking. So I just wanted somebody to answer me that.
अरे ठीक है यार, दुनिया नहीं चला रहे हैं वो दोनों लोग. It's okay. कोई दिक्कत नहीं.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
No worries.
So at the start of the session, I overheard you saying that you are setting up your own venture.
Who, me?
Yeah. Like in something you are doing, your venture, and you want to hire people.
No, so I said I might hire 1 or 2 interns from this group.
So for whatever you are doing, right?
So we have launched Stanza Living in Belgaum as well. I don't know how many guys of you have seen the boards in Belgaum, but we are going to sign and start operating 2-3 of our properties there, student housing properties. Might as well.
Yeah. So while you have this HR recruiting team or recruitment team, so what are the problems you are going to face, and what are the type of people you are looking for?
Very, very early enough to say that right now, because we are not really looking for full-time positions. We are looking for interns, but obviously somebody who's very, very well spoken, somebody who's able to express their thoughts into words very clearly, is very detailed oriented, and then again has that problem solving sort of an attitude. I think that's all. I think even if you don't have knowledge about the industry, I think it's our job to train you guys and make you learn. And that's 90% of where our L&D team also focuses on. Yeah. Somebody was asking something before this.
Yes, sir. Sir, is sales and marketing a career only for is it okay for women to also consider it, like because of the travel aspect, and does gender actually come as a problem here?
Women have been the most successful from my experience in getting a sales and a marketing career. Trust me. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Women, men. I think it's all about just getting out of your comfort zone and doing it. And trust me, Grace, what is इतना क्या प्रॉब्लम है यार फील्ड वर्क में? मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि लाइक यू गाइस विल बी रोमिंग villages the whole day, right? It might be 2 or 3 hours of field work where you go and study and analyze the market. And I don't differentiate between men and women here. Both are the same. I think women are 10 times more powerful and capable enough than a man. Why do you have to underestimate women or girls for that matter? Some of the most successful marketing managers and CEOs have been women in this industry. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. That's just a stigma that you can carry, right? I mean, as long as you yourself don't want to get out of a comfort zone, then I think it's a wrong career option to go with. But I think equal amount of opportunities for women to get into sales. And that's just not into retail sales. It can be anything. It can be telemarketing. It can be real estate sales. And real estate sales is one of the best that I have been in, right? Like where you're selling properties worth crores and your incentives are going worth lakhs. What's wrong in that? You're selling a good product. You're selling people houses and homes that they will live in. I think it's an amazing job here. I think you should explore. And the kind of people you will get to meet and network, right? I think that will help you scale up to a whole new level. Like I have met, because of my job, I have met people such as, Kiran Mazumdar, who heads Biocon. I have met people such as Narayan Murthy, who's heading Infosys. I have met some of the biggest marketing managers in the country, such as, I have met Prasun Joshi, who's basically into doing a lot of creative ad media for a lot of companies. I have met a lot of high profile ministers wherein we are wanting to tie up with the government of Karnataka or India. That exposure of knowing people at that heights and levels and working with them, it's tremendous, right? Like, I mean, it's amazing. And that makes you a more respected person out in the market as well when you go and talk to so many people. I think in HR and finance and other functions, I think you are only crowded or surrounded to your small desk or a cubicle. But in terms of a sales and marketing sort of a job, I think the whole world is out there. I think it's amazing.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. And trust me, Grace, you should not shy from getting into a sales and marketing. I think you guys will enjoy once you get out of it. And it's not as boring as studying and getting marks in exams, for sure.
Yes, I will consider that.
Done. Sir, how does a college name make such a difference? Because as you said, skill set of a person is more important. Contradictory questions mujhe hi maar rahe. So I am not saying, I don't know who asked this question. I'm sorry. Snehal Kutre. So Snehal, when I said do it from a big B school, that's just a platform for you to reach out to better companies and placements. It's just a platform. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि IIM में एडमिशन मिल गया जॉब गारंटीड है. No, even there, how you are as a person, how is your attitude, your skill set is still going to be important. That is just a platform to get to very good jobs and college companies. यहाँ पे भी, now I am from IIM. I did my MBA from a very tier 2 college, but today I earn a salary equivalent to an IIM or an IIT grad. I may be more than them. But that does not mean कि मेरा कॉलेज ब्रांड नेम नहीं था करके मैं सक्सेसफुल नहीं था. I was able to build that skill set into me, right? I was able to learn, I was able to adapt, I was able to build those sort of qualities that are more or less in an IIM or an IIT grad. तो वो आपको कोई सिखाएगा नहीं, वो आपको अंदर से सीखना है. When you get up in the morning, do you want to 3 hours play PUBG or do reels on Instagram, or do you want to read newspapers and articles and improve your knowledge? Completely up to you. Do you want to watch videos on TED Talks about famous speakers, try and understand marketing, different marketing strategies, or do you want to go on Netflix and watch another movie for an hour or so? Completely up to you. ये टाइम कैसे यूटिलाइज करोगे ये आप देख लो. Once when you guys get into a job and you're not happy, your life is too late. Like you're already too late in that phase of your life where you're not able to go back and change it. You guys are kids. I don't know. Half of you must be not even 19, 20 years old. If I'm not wrong, correct? I don't know what age was I in when I was BCA. I don't know. I think I was 21, 22. So you guys still have a good solid 2 years to figure out what do you want to do in life. करना भी है या नहीं, डैड के फैमिली बिजनेस में जाना है, खुद का कुछ नया शुरू करना है. So I think identify that and then build your skill set around that, Snehal. College is just a platform. It is not going to decide your career. It is just a way to get to a better opportunity. That's all I'm saying. I'm sorry, who was that?
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, Disha.
How has marketing changed post the pandemic?
Very good answer. Very good question that was. I think marketing has changed after the pandemic drastically for a few industries, but not for all of them. Like, for example, when I said telemarketing, that has become a big boom, right? Because obviously everybody was working from home. Nobody was sitting out of their offices or going to meet the clients physically in their personal office space. So I think a lot of the marketing from going from a BTL aspect has turned into telemarketing, right? Now, when I say BTL is basically below the line. Below the line marketing is when you go out on the field, you do marketing for your products out in the field. You do a lot of visual merchandising. When you go to a Kirana, when you go to a Big Bazaar or a DMart, you see a lot of shelves that are put up with a lot of hoardings, like offers being running around. So I think that has completely been minimized. I think that is more or less dead. And it has also gone on a lot of telemarketing level, right? Wherein you are able to not wherein you are able to touch base with your clients over a phone and then close a lot of the deals. Second, I think marketing has also evolved from being a need related aspect to more of a health related aspect, right? Obviously, after the COVID wave coming in, people dying, people looking after their health and safety, I think a lot of products have positioned themselves as being healthy, as being a lot more user friendly, and it has also done this plug-in where it is also helping them solve the problem of COVID-19 being involved in it, right? Like for example, let's say for example your normal bathing soap, उन्होंने कभी नहीं बोला 99% जर्म्स मार के सैनिटाइजेशन करता है, बट अभी वो सबको वही करना है. Like everybody is marketing their soap like a product which will help you prevent COVID. All the companies which are into let's say food habits, or let's say are into online groceries, they are also like, our fruits are sanitized to kill COVID. That is how their entire marketing communication has changed. So everybody has taken this pandemic and has just been able to benchmark on that, and then they've just been able to take this entire health wave. So yes, I think that fear that consumers had after the entire COVID thing happened, I think a lot of the marketing has revolved around that after the pandemic has happened. Right? I hope my answer was justified.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but yes, a lot of the industries have been shut. तो वहां पे भी बहुत बड़ा हिट हुआ है, like for example tourism and real estate, so that has also taken a big impact.
Yes, students, any more questions from anyone? Anything else anyone has to ask? Any clarifications?
Yes, ma'am, got one thing.
Yeah,
so what do you think is traditional marketing in traditional marketing world? Sorry, traditional marketing method is of any use in today's world, because this is an era of digital marketing.
I would say traditional marketing is more or less dead. I think there is not a lot of scope for it. But I think certain businesses and certain products can survive only through traditional marketing, right? Like, can you give me an example of certain brands where you can relate to this? On why you asked me this question?
No specific brands as such, sir, but I got this question on my head.
So, like, I do not think traditional marketing is the way ahead. Obviously not. I think it is going to be more or less over in the next 3 or 4 odd years. Yes, I think digital marketing is the future. 90% of the living population in the country is going to be on one or the other social media platform, and I think that is going to be the only way to reach out to them and mass market your product. So yes, I think traditional marketing is more or less going to end in the near future.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah, Bhavna.
Sir, as you told, digital marketing is our future in coming days. So is it that even work from home is going to live with us forever?
I think a good 10 to 20% of the companies are going to shift to permanent work from homes. Yes. That stigma is definitely there in the market, but I do not think a good 70-80% of the people will continue working from home. And irrespective of digital marketing as a profession being needed to work from home, I think it also has a lot to do about going out in the field and meeting your clients and understanding their expectations from it, right? Where you get a look and feel about. So digital marketing is all about understanding what the client wants, right? So basically digital marketing is broken down into a lot of sub layers again. But it's also about understanding that how is that client wants you to pursue their product? How is it that they want the message to go out to the end consumers? So I think identifying this is very important. And hence it is important to go meet the client, see their product, use their product out in the market. So I would not say completely work from home, but I think it is going to be a hybrid model where people will have to come to office maybe once or twice a week. and rest of the days they will have to work from home.
Yes.
But yes, I think 10-20% of the workforce is never coming back to office for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I think for you guys also, it's important that you guys get into a culture of or a company where there is no work from home. Trust me. So you guys will always be in your comfort zone and you guys will never come out. So don't do that. Personal suggestion.
Okay, anything more or can we close the session? Students?
Ma'am, I have one question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sir, in many interviews, I have seen that they ask to sell this pen to me. So have you experienced this question? And if yes, then what was your answer to it?
So what I did was I gave the interviewer a piece of blank paper and I told him to write his name on it. And when he said, can I have your pen? Then I said, that's going to be $100. Simple as that. That is how I cracked my interview. No, not to justify that, but yes, if you are asked to sell this pen, Disha, obviously that's one of the most common interview questions that come across, and a lot of people go blank in it. But I think again, it's all about how you're going to keep it simple, right? What is the basic job of a pen? It's basically to write, right? You will basically ask them what is it that they do. First, try and understand your consumer. What is it that you do? Are you a student? Are you a working professional? Right? Try and understand whom are you selling it to. That is the first question that you identify. Third problem statement is, why is he looking for a pen or is he looking for something else? That is the third thing. Second, before you sell the pen, just try and do a little small talk. So before I sell this pen to you, can I just know your name, where you're from, what you've been doing? He will obviously not directly tell you, okay, I don't need the pen, but he'll at least try and understand, that you are interested to know a little more about him before you sell it. So when a recruiter asks this question, right, he is not going to see how much of innovation you're putting in this. Sir, this is a remote controlled pen. Sir, this has auto erasing capacity. Sir, this has ink which will never dry up in your near life. Sir, this pen is only 5 rupees. Don't do all that. The reason behind that HR asking you this question is just to see how do you approach the situation. Are you panicking? Are you speaking gibberish? Are you telling him things which are invalid? It's not about that. It's all about how you pacify yourself, be calm, how you initiate the conversation. How do you initiate that conversation from asking him about himself to identifying his needs and then pitching your product. I think if you get these 3-4 steps right, the HR will be more than happy. मुझे बोला नहीं, हाँ, yeah, Abhishek.
Before all these steps, the thing is to create demand in the moment.
भाई तू recruiter बन जा, तू कुछ मत कर अभिषेक. You know everything, I guess. Very true, very true. That is also very important to create a demand. But like I said, just give him a piece of paper and ask him to write your name. वो demand मैंने create कर दिया ना. उसको बोला पेन चाहिए तो खरीद ले मेरे से. Simple. And I realized that because he gave me his pen, and I knew his pen was with me, so I could sell it to him now, right? Disha, I hope I answered your question. And this can be not just with pen; it can be anything, right? Yeah.
So I had a question.
Yes, Neha.
So do you think that doing a job for a year or two before pursuing MBA is a good choice?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. I'll tell you why, right, Sneha? Because a lot of the subjects and modules which will be taught in the MBA will be a lot more relatable to you if you work in an organization first.
Okay.
वहां क्या होगा ना, so you will, यहाँ पे आप सिर्फ theoretical पढ़ोगे, you will maybe try and by heart all the chapters, the points, and then go and write it in your exam. If you are able to get a years or a 2 years of work experience and then come and do your MBA, all the subjects and all the presentations that you will go through in the classes, you will be able to relate with the company you work for. And I think that is any day better than just studying and रट्टा मारना बोलते हैं ना, उससे बहुत बेटर है कि कॉन्सेप्ट समझ लो, लाइक कंपनी का प्रोडक्ट बनता कैसे है, दैट विल कम अप टू योर प्रोडक्शन मैनेजमेंट सब्जेक्ट. देन डिलीवर कैसे होता है, देन यू विल बी एबल टू रिलेट टू सप्लाई चेन. देन प्राइस कैसे होता है, देन यू विल बी एबल टू कम डाउन टू दैट प्राइसिंग मॉड्यूल. बिकता कैसे है, then you will be able to relate to that sales and marketing module. How does your consumer behave when he buys the product, or how does he behave when he has to buy a product? Then you'll be able to relate to that consumer behavior topic. So I would recommend everybody, all of you, work for a year and then do your MBA. And that is the day when you'll remember me कि विराज ने ये बोला था, मुझे याद है और मैंने ये किया, and that really helped me get a lot of exposure in terms of creating a lot of value out of my MBA as well. Definitely you should.
Okay, can we conclude? Any more questions? Okay, Bhavna, you can go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. So, a very good afternoon to one and all present here. It gives me immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks to each and everyone who made this session fascinating with their involvement and presence. Firstly, I would like to thank our speaker for today's session, Mr. Viraj Nilachkar, for enlightening us with his thoughts and ideas. The takeaways that I have extracted from this webinar is obviously the importance of sales and marketing in this field. As Sir said, everyone has to sell some or the other things, whether be product or service. And how to sell anything with the word of mouth. As Sir told, communication is the key. Talk whatever your customer wants to hear, right? And for sales, it is important to identify the problem and whom are you selling the product, and have your information and research clear. So thank you so much, sir, for sharing this amazing knowledge. I believe each one of us has learned a lot of things from you and would apply the same at our work experiences as well. I would also like to thank Professor Francisca Carvalho, the faculty coordinator for today's session, for conducting such an amazing webinar. Thank you, ma'am. Lastly, I would like to thank other faculty members and all my dear friends as well for making this session a great success. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Bhavna. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. It was great interacting with you. Thank you, Francesca, for this opportunity. Although I would have liked to prepare a lot more on this, but I honestly couldn't by the time. I would have loved to meet you guys in person and come to the college and do this, because that way I could, actually see half the faces that are here. But thank you, guys. I think a long road ahead for you guys to build successful careers and be independent professionals. You guys can reach out to me on LinkedIn anytime you want. I have a profile. You can just Google my name. I'm just putting it in the chat box as well. You guys can add me here. Secondly, if you guys have if you guys need any help with respect to getting good internships, getting good opportunities in cities such as Bangalore or Mumbai or Pune, let me know. Hit me up. I can definitely look at referring you guys to certain friends and colleagues that I have. Obviously, because I would want a college from Belgaum to do a lot more better since I come from there. And anything with respect to any difficulties you guys have, please feel free to reach out. And thank you so much for your time, guys.
Thank you. Before we can end, if you all could for once put on your camera so that we take one screenshot.
Yes.
At least
on the first.
You all will come on the college LinkedIn account, or at least for that you all can switch on your cameras. So I think I should have told them that in the beginning itself.
Very true.
Yes. Can I see some more cameras on so that we can take a screenshot of that? Give me 1 second. Take one geotagged photo. Yeah, I'm done. Thank you. Thanks once again.
Thank you so
Viraj.
much, guys.
Thank you,
Yes.
students.
Thank you. Have a great day.